Hello everyone. So in this video, I want to actually do just a quick comparison of two very popular life vests, or they also call PFDs. And both of those are Type 3 PFD being sold here in the United States. And on my left-hand side, the green one is the NRS cVest. And on my right-hand side is the NRS Chinook. And the cVest is designed mainly for folks who actually kayak inshore or offshore near the ocean, and so it's designed for sea kayaking. And the Chinook is actually designed more for like river and lakes for folks who likes to fish. So this is more or less a fishing vest, and this is a sea kayaking or touring vest. They actually have more similarity than differences when it comes to their performance. Okay, they're all Type 3, and they all perform equally well. Both provides about 16.5 pounds of flotation if you actually accidentally fall into the water, and they all have a variety of colors, both very bright green and orange colors, and some of the cameo colors if you prefer that kind of thing. But personally, I would always suggest, if you're going out on the lake or on the river, and especially in the ocean, you want a kayak that's highly visible. And that's why both of those vests are actually bright colored. So one is for my wife and one is for myself. And again, as I said, they're actually quite similar. They both provide a lot of pockets, as you can see. So this one, the Chinook, and this Chinook is actually one of the older versions that came out a few years back. If you look at the front pocket design, you'll notice this front pocket design is slightly different as opposed to the newest version of the Chinook that they're selling. But regardless, they're all very similar. Okay, the Chinook, this is the regular Chinook, and they also have a version called Chinook OS, which is for offshore kayaking. And so the OS would be more comparable to the cVest, but again, more catering to the fishing folks who wants a lot of pockets. Okay, but regardless, I think if you're just doing regular kayaking, you want some additional pockets, both of those vests provides plenty of pockets for your needs and more. Okay, so let's start with the Chinook. Okay, and basically it's again a inshore and on lake PFD device. It's got a front entry, so you got this little nice zipper in the front. On the bottom of the zipper, you'll notice there is a kind of like a belt closure kind of a thing. With this, you can adjust the entry over here, 2 points, that's adjustable. And on the side, besides those bottom 2 points, you have additional 2 adjustments on the side, both left and right over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is around your shoulder, 6, 7, 8 adjustment points on the Chinook. And this is, I believe, either 250D nylon or 400D nylon, but it feels like 250D because it's not as coarse. Okay, but the material is actually I think ripstop material, so if you do accidentally kind of make a hole on here, it's not gonna torn up like some of the other like regular nylon stuff. But if you look inside, the interior is not ripstop, so if you do actually torn the interior, they might rip, just so you know. But I don't think you're gonna have any trouble, or I don't think the inside is gonna need the ripstop, because your body is very soft. Nothing is gonna make those rip, right? But on the internal, it's 200. It feels like 200D nylon or polyester, and it's actually quite comfortable to wear, especially if you're already wearing some sort of like sun protective clothing, and you're not going to have any trouble with discomfort when you wear this vest. Both of those vests are actually UL listed, and again, they're Type 3, providing 16.5 pounds of flotation if you fall into the water, and both of those are actually high back design. So if you look at the back, the majority of the foam is going to be on the top, which gives you plenty of additional comfort on the bottom part. And both of those are actually mesh. And again, this one is the older version. It's going to have a fine mesh over here. If you're buying the newest Chinook, it's going to have this larger mesh as seen, similar to this one on the cVest. Okay, so the newer version of the cVest and the Chinook is actually very similar. But again, I'm showing you guys the slightly older version that's slightly different. So again, finer mesh. Both of those is going to provide a lot of ventilation for the back, especially if you have a high back kayak, like one of those comfort kayak or like recreational kayaks with high back, adjustable back. This kayak or this vest is going to be a lot more comfortable as opposed to a back design that covers the entire back, which is going to make it extremely hot. And over here in Miami, we've had multiple days of heat wave warnings, so the high back design is definitely welcomed when on the water. Okay, for the folks out in the north, it might be a different story. You might want a vest that actually covers the entire back in the colder weather, so you don't get your back kind of exposed and have very cold, uncomfortable back when you're kayaking. Okay, so those are things to take into consideration. But over here in Miami, the high back design would always be welcomed for the warm weather. Okay, but one thing that's interesting is the Chinook, being slightly cheaper, have a less comfortable shoulder strap here. So the shoulder strap is just a basic flat nylon strap over here. If you look at the cVest close to the back actually has a more comfortable like foam padded back over here, and so that's just a interesting difference that I observed. Okay, both of those devices, when you wear them, they actually feel very similar when you actually have both vests on you. And the slight advantage with the Chinook being it doesn't have this popped out area on the top, so it's slightly smaller profile. I guess if you need more maneuverability, the Chinook is going to be slightly better in the front area over here. As opposed to the cVest that actually designed some of the foam and flotation over here at the top. But the advantage with this design is on the back side, this little back area is actually slightly thinner. So they moved some of the back material to the top part over here. And on the Chinook, the back flotation plate is actually pretty thick. But the advantage is in the front, you don't have as thick of a front area for more, if you need, to do fishing stuff, this might be an advantage for you. So yeah, give and take. With the same flotation, they're gonna have the about same volume of foams in both of those devices. It just all depends on where they put those foams and what kind of priority that you need. Now, onto the pockets. The Chinook is going to have two large front entry pockets that you can access. So you access the left one with your right hand, because look at the zipper design, it's kind of designed for left hand use. I guess you can kind of use your left hand, but it's not as convenient when you actually mount it and try to use it. Actually, let me actually just put this on me so it's easier to demonstrate both of those devices. So I'm going to start with Chinook. And again, front entry is extremely easy to actually execute. And to put this on, you want to first actually secure the bottom clipper first. Once you have the bottom secured, you're going to come over here and work your way on the zipper in the front. The zipper in the front is very easy to do because they provide a very convenient tab on this side, so you can just very securely get the tab and just put it down here. It's very easy to take on and take off. And as you can see, when it's on me, it fits the body very well. The foam doesn't. It's not as form-fitting as the cVest. The cVest front piece actually had a contour design, where the Chinook, or the older version of Chinook, is just two flat pieces over here. So I can kind of feel there are some room in here that allows for ventilation, which might be an advantage. With the more form-fitted one, there's not going to be any empty spots for ventilation if that's what you're looking after at warm weather. Again, those pockets you can reach with both hands, but I feel like it's easier to reach with this hand, the opposite side, with this kind of zipper design. And the good news is both of those large pockets will fit a largest phone that you have, which over here I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is a gigantic phone and it actually fits in here perfectly. So if you need to take some videos, during the kayaking, you can just leave your phone here. You don't have to zip all the way. You can just kind of over here and just grab your phone out, take a quick picture, and just put your phone back here, and you're done. Okay. It will fit a radio. However, this is designed for inland use, so they didn't really have a dedicated radio pocket, not like the cVest, which you got two dedicated radio pockets for the VHF marine radios for offshore and close to inshore use. But this one doesn't have a dedicated radio spot. However, it does have this little tab over here where you can actually mount your radio here with a little force. You should be able to mount your radio right here if you need to. Otherwise, you can also clip your radio right here in this little hole, or you can clip your radio right here, but it just doesn't have a dedicated pocket for the radio. And those are the two major pockets. You also have two small pockets, or actually three smaller pockets. On the left hand side, you have two pockets with kind of a Velcro secured expandable area that I can actually kind of probably will fit one of those. Let's see. Yeah, it might fit this. See if I can just leave the whole thing in here so it doesn't spring out. This little plier for fishing, and you might be able to just put it in here and secure it or tie it somewhere like on your vest. There are some entry points, I remember, at the bottom, so you can just tie it here. And so that's one thing. You can also tie a security knife over here. This one is not for really kayak use, but I'm just demonstrating for you. You have multiple areas. You can hide the knife over here, okay? Or you can take it out and just clip it somewhere here. So you have a lot of area for like kind of mounting, attaching, and yeah, it's great for fishing and also great for people who likes a lot of pockets, as I've demonstrated. So two pockets over here and a slightly larger one over here. So you have, and I think this one would actually also fit the phone. Let me grab the phone out. Okay, you can just drop your phone here. Doesn't fit fully. Yeah, so no, not the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but you can fit an iPhone 14 or smaller. But the large pocket definitely fits your phone if that's your thing. Okay, so let's close those pockets. And of course, like in here, have some other stuff. This is a line cutter. Yeah, a lot of fishing stuff you could easily just hold in here for easy access. And I forgot there's a little cute pocket over here on top as well. Yeah, and with more things, maybe your keys and other important stuff, your IDs all can fit on the top part over here. The knife, yeah, even the knife fits. Okay, so very thoughtfully designed. With available four-way tabs over here, securing point over here, securing point over here. I don't believe you have this one on the newest version, but The old one doesn't have it here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets. Plenty of pockets. Now if you look at the back, again, as I said, the high back design. My kayak, I have a low back seat and a high back seat. This doesn't interference with any of those seats at all. Okay, even though this one is slightly larger than the cVest, it doesn't interference with my kayak seat, even the high back one. Okay, so that's a really nice thing to have, especially if you're on a sit on top kayak and you just want to do fishing, you want to stand up. This is actually very comfortable. You get a full range of motion because on this area, they actually left those area out, so you have more range of motion over here, even if you're pedaling, like trying to reel your fishing rod, and it works great. Okay, I have absolutely no complaint. The strap, as I mentioned, it's not padded, not like the cVest, but the strap shouldn't be any of your concern because your body is actually holding the vest, not the strap area. So you always want the vest to be as low as possible, and you always want to make sure this bottom clip is very securely clipped in, because when you fall down, the vest is going to have a tendency to float up, and you definitely need the bottom clip to be secured so it doesn't float up as much. And during the swimming, you can also just adjust the both sides by just pulling it and instantly adjust the flotation or the tightness of the vest. So this is definitely a very well designed vest. Now in terms of comfort, as I mentioned, it's got some holes in here, like a big hole in the middle. So the wind definitely goes through and you can feel it. But it's not form fitting, so you can kind of feel two giant pieces of square foam in front of you when you're fishing. But again, for your safety, I think it doesn't really bother. Like, this is a life-saving device and you should always have a life vest on. Okay, so I am gonna conclude the Chinook. It's a very comfortable, very nice vest to have, very easy to put on and very easy to take off, and very easy to secure and adjust with 8 points of adjustability. Okay, and that also mentioned there's a additional Velcro like securing thing over here that you can utilize. Yeah, so just very well designed, very well designed. I really like this vest. If you can find this on sale for less than $100, I would say this is one of my top choice. Even for sea kayaking, plenty of pockets, high visibility, and great range of motion that you can get. So all in all, definitely recommend. Now actually let's take a look at the cVest. The cVest is going to be very similar, okay? Very, very similar. Now this is a newer design, I would say. I think the cVest came out after the Chinook, and there are a couple advantages to the cVest. I'm just going to go through, and again, both of those are actually very similar with plenty of pockets and very similar fit. So the cVest, the advantage is added visibility with those very high visibility stripes in the front. Even the paint on the NRS is reflective, okay? And also on the back, highly reflective material. You have high-vis stripes over here, high-vis logo over here, and a high-vis thing on the shoulder strap as well on the top. Okay, so you should be able to be seen from all areas. If you need help in a dark environment, you need rescue, this vest might just save your life with the high visibility. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the cVest is going to have a protrude area at the top, but again, plenty of pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not as much as that one which had 6 pockets. The 4 pockets, again, I was doing some canal kayaking. It's more than enough. I usually just use 1 to 2 pockets max, okay? When I was kayaking, I had my radio in one of the pocket, which is again the advantage. The 2 front pockets actually is dual zipper design, so if you have a radio antenna at a different angle, you can very easily adjust and fit the radio in here very securely. Both of those front pockets are, and again, does it fit an iPhone? It kind of fits, almost fits an iPhone, okay? So you can leave your phone here for easy access, and it's not gonna fall, wind is not gonna blow it off, so it does fit half of the iPhone here, and also fits, again, most important, the radio. And over here you have two larger pockets. Those pockets opens quite largely, and inside here, I would say it's got even bigger pocket than the one in the front of the Chinook. This one is a very, very large pocket, okay? So the iPhone easily fits inside and more, okay? So I'll show you guys, this is where the iPhone is, and you still got plenty of area for additional stuff. Very, very nice, and very, very visible. This is what you want on the sea, close to the shore. If you need rescue, this jacket again might save your life, okay? So again, on this side is the exact same thing. You get a large pocket, and I have my bristle here attached to one of the deer hook, and I have a knife over here just for fun. This is kind of like a fun knife. I had over here for this jacket. Again, this knife would clip to some area, but this cVest doesn't offer as many clipping area on the front as say the Chinook. Okay? So the Chinook definitely wins when it comes to areas for attachment. The cVest has plenty, but it doesn't have so many. Okay. Next, I'm actually just gonna put the vest on for you guys to see, and I also had my this is the sports drink tab that I use for hydration purpose, and I keep a lot of stuff already in here since I'm already using this jacket. And again, your phone could also fit in here, and if you use this for inshore fishing, I believe the plier can also fit somewhere in here. You just need to find a point to attach it. Now I haven't found one. I guess you can hide it somewhere, but it's definitely not as convenient. Not as convenient as the Chinook, or not as practical as Chinook when it comes to fishing gears that you need and that you need to mount in here. So again, it's designed for touring. For fishing, it kind of works, doesn't work as well as Chinook. But let me put it on for you guys to see. This one actually have less adjustment point compared to the Chinook. Okay, so this one had 1 adjustment point, 2 adjustment point, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the Chinook had an additional adjustment point over here. So in terms of form fitting, or in terms of body shape fitting, I think the Chinook is gonna slightly have the advantage of fitting more comfortably compared to the cVest. The cVest only had 6 adjustment points, but again, the way to put this vest on is you always put on the bottom one first. There's a little clicker. You click this and lock it. Once the bottom is locked, you try to work your way with the zipper and align the 2 sides. Push the zipper down and push it up. Okay, so right off the bat, I can tell you this one is better fitted in the front. It's more comfortable. It doesn't feel like 2 giant blocks of square foam. This one actually is contoured. Okay, so in terms of comfort, the cVest is going to be slightly more comfortable than the Chinook. And as you can see, the downside is limited pocket area, and I can only fit so much things in the pocket. Even though the pocket is large, it would be nice to actually have different pockets for different purpose. So in that regard, I think Chinook is going to win slightly. Okay, so this one, you fit a radio and you fit a knife and maybe a sunblock and some other stuff. But the other stuff you have to all cramp into the same pockets over here on two sides, which might be a disadvantage for some people. So if you're looking for more pockets, and if you're a lady, I know ladies always loves a lot of pockets, you might consider the Chinook, okay, compared to the cVest. But if you're someone who wants a more comfortable, more form-fitting life vest, you could consider the cVest as opposed to Chinook. And again, with those adjustment points, let's see. Just for you guys to see on the side, it still provides a very secure fit with 6 adjustment points. And of course, if you fall into the water, again, you don't want this to come up. And this one, once it's tightened down, it's very securely fitted in the front of your chest. So that's very nice as well. And looking over here, you could hide those straps down here, the extra long ones. Can you do it on the? So you can't really do this on the Chinook. So if you have extra long straps, it's just gonna dangling around, and if there's wind, it's gonna affect, it's gonna be kind of annoying. But over here, you can hide it. Over here, I guess it's more designed for the sea kayaking purpose for more windy conditions. So that's really nice. You have some D hooks, one on each side on the top, and I believe one on each side at the bottom. Okay, so, and again, you guys can see, provides again full range of motion. It's got a little more additional area right here. So they reduce the back side foam, and they put the additional foam like over here on the side and also here on the top. The Chinook, the foam is evenly distributed compared to the cVest. So it really comes to personal preference. And again, and that's pretty much the cVest. cVest is simpler compared to the Chinook, and it's slightly more comfortable. It had one less adjustment point on each side. So if you're a bigger person, I think the Chinook might work slightly better for you with more adjustment points. Okay. So, but if you're a smaller person, like both of those are small to medium, and they provide, as you can see, I'm kind of like a medium person. It's still got a lot of straps to go for this vest to fully reach its maximum potential. So yeah, this is a cVest. And of course, over here, the clipping point, they do provide 2 in the front over here. And but I don't think the radio is gonna fit in here because it's very tight and very small. So you might be able to fit a knife here, and the knife is not even, fitting nicely here. So yeah, not as practical as Chinook when it comes to attachment points. And I kind of wish they had some additional attachment points over here because those spaces are just wasted. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let me take it off. And again, with those 2 point of secure, you secure here and you secure here. Both of those vests are very easy to take on and off. Now, I'm gonna try to actually sum up the video and tell you guys what I think about those vests. Let's see. Okay. And you won't go wrong with either of those. Like both of those vests, very capable Type 3 personal floating device, and they are a lot more comfortable compared to the one that I rented kayak and the kayak company give you. Those like $30, $20 ones, they do the job, but they're not as comfortable as this one. And obviously not as practical because those cheap personal flotation device doesn't have any pockets, and a lot of times they're all like clipper closures. It doesn't have a Velcro, so very slow to work with as well. Those are both great choices. If you so the conclusion is, if you want slightly more form-fitting, more comfortable fit vest, you would probably want to consider the cVest. because the foam in here are shaped, okay? And also the back is a lot more slimmer. If if your old vest you had an uncomfortable back, this slimmer back is going to be more comfortable. And the mesh again works great for hot, humid areas like here in Miami, and it does not interference with the chair that I had on both of those kayaks. If you are a bigger person, I don't know how well it's gonna work for you, but for a small to medium-sized person, this vest works fantastic for hot and warm weather. Both of those vests is gonna get pretty hot when you wear them for an extended period of time. You're gonna sweat for sure, and that's okay. You always want to have your vest on for safety purpose, okay? It's always a bad idea going out without a vest. So this one provides more comfort, it's more form-fitting, and it's more modern, and it's more safe with those safety stripes. And so ergonomic and comfort-wise, I would choose the cVest. It also provides enough pockets for basic needs. Okay, so for 2 pockets each side, it holds the phone, it holds the knife, it holds the safety devices, so that's great. But if you want the most convenient and the most amount of pocket available, you want to go with the Chinook. The Chinook's pockets are very well thought and designed. I kind of wish they would blend those 2 designs. They would actually offer a radio pocket over here instead of this large front pocket, and then this vest would be perfect for sea kayaking as well. Okay, so it's not as comfortable, it's slightly less comfortable, but not uncomfortable in any way. Okay, and the foam is very square, it's not shaped, it's not shaped as well as cVest. And on the back, it's slightly more chunky. It's just a much larger back compared to the cVest, as you can see. Okay, much larger. And again, they all have the same amount of foam. It all depends on where they put the foam. But in this case, Chinook had more foam on the back, so they're able to actually shave off the front area a little bit, so you have more freedom to move in the front of the vest when you're working and fishing. All right, so there is that. And in terms of the ease of putting both vests on, they are pretty much similar. The Chinook also had advantage of one additional securing point over here. For folks who are like larger size, the additional securing point I think might actually work to your advantage. And again, I just cannot stop praising about the practicality of the pockets of the Chinook. It's just so much more practical compared to the cVest, and they executed it, very, very nicely. The only downside, if you want to use this for sea kayak, is there is no dedicated pocket for radio. That's the only downside I can think of. Otherwise, this is a great vest. You can mount your radio here, but again, it's gonna protrude and kind of like hopefully not poking your head. It's just no way to find a good place for a VHF radio. The only point you might be able to put the radio is right here, but again, it's gonna interfere with this pocket zipper over here. So yeah, that's the only downside. If you want to use it for sea kayak, find a way to put your radio in here, then we're all good. Otherwise, this kayak definitely wins if you're, inshore, if you're on the lake, on the river, and you're doing fishing, and just general like recreational use. I think the Chinook is the way to go. It doesn't have any of those safety, stripes for like nighttime visibility. But again, I think if you're on the river and on the lake, time's late, you should be going back. You should be going back, right? So the mesh back, again, no difference. They're all very comfortable. The newer ones is gonna have a more coarse mesh back, but there you have it. For more comfort, cVest works better. For sea kayaking and touring for better visibility, cVest is going to be better. For practicality, for more pocket, the Chinook definitely wins. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please do hit that like button or subscribe. I'm doing this video because I don't see many other videos doing the same thing, comparing those vests, you know, in a practical way. Okay, those two are at the close, like similar price point. This one goes on sale quite a lot. The Chinook goes on sale quite a lot. The cVest, I haven't seen them go on sale below $125, so they're more expensive. But for sea kayaking, I might consider this more. For inland and fishing, I might consider this more. But either of those can be used vice versa. Okay, really depends on your preference and your priority. So I want to end my video here. We actually did go out and kayak today. My wife was wearing the NRS Chinook, and I was wearing the cVest. No complaints. Like, she actually really liked the fit of the Chinook, even though, you know, she's a lady. This is a unisex vest, I believe, and the NRS also performed perfectly fine. In the end, I did actually flip my kayak and got into the water. So as you can see, why it's wet, and it did provide good flotation for me to keep my head on top of the surface while I was trying to actually get out of my kayak. And so hopefully, I mean, the water is not deep, but it actually did its job, keeping me afloat. So that's what I want to actually come to the conclusion. I think based on what I talked about earlier in the video, if you like more comfort, you can consider the cVest as better fitted, form fitted. But if you want functionality in terms of like useful pocket, you should consider the Chinook. The only downside for Chinook is it doesn't have a dedicated radio pocket, not like the cVest, but it does have a lot more useful pockets for other purpose. All right, so I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button or subscribe to my channel, because I will, as we go kayak more, I will have more kayak related videos coming out for you guys. So thanks again, and see you in the next video. Take care.